Don't forget your books when you go on vacation this summer. Library Associate Sana Moulder tells us about some of the great reads available at the Cumberland County Library to help you keep reading while on vacation.
Vacations are probably one of the best times to get into some good reading. It's a good time for adults and children to become involved with recreational reading, which means reading that you do for fun, not because you're trying to learn something or because it's required for a class. Studies have shown that children who are recreational readers get better grades, and everyone who is a recreational reader has more empathy, they're able to step into other people's shoes more easily, and they become better managers and supervisors. Many businesses have now incorporated book clubs and book club discussions for their people just because of that reason, just to turn out better management styles. The Cumberland County Library System has books for children and adults of all ages. Most people are probably familiar with the easy books or picture books. These are the books our kids start out with, and either they are all illustration or mostly illustration with just a few words. As children get older, we move them into what we call chapter books, and these are books that have more text and fewer pictures. These are usually for kids that are between first and third grade on an average. We also have graphic novels. This is what people who grew up in my generation call comic books. Don't discount these. Comic books are great for reluctant readers. These are for kids that are usually between ages 8 and 12. Big Nate also, this is considered a graphic novel even though this is actually more text and fewer pictures, but it's enough to keep the kids involved. Teen books, there are several different kinds of teen books. One thing that's worth remembering is that boys ages 8 to 12 usually prefer to read a book where a boy is a main character. Girls, it doesn't seem to bother them as much, but for boys that's important. This particular book is a book for teenagers, and the main character is a teenage girl who is able to talk with dead people, and the book talks about her using that skill to help solve mysteries that are happening. For adults, one of the things that we decided to focus on is with summer coming up in the summer TV series, is there are so many TV series out there, and a lot of them are based on books that at one time were pretty popular. And of course, this is the granddaddy of them all, the Game of Thrones. The book series is actually called The Song of Fire and Ice. There are 5 books in this series. It's been on HBO long enough that the writers have now run out of book to use, and they're veering off on their own. But this, if you're into that series and you're enjoying watching it on TV, this is worth coming to check and see what George R.R. Martin thought about the characters initially, getting the rest of the backstory, finding out what Jon and Arya were actually up to, finding some of the characters that he killed off in the beginning. Their front stories are going to be here. There is another book that's coming out. We don't know when. George takes a long time between series. The new one is going to be called The Winds of Winter, because as we all know, winter is coming. Another series that's out is Guillermo del Toro's The Strain. And yes, this is about vampires, and no, these vampires do not sparkle. This is on FX, and the books were really scary. So if you like that, these are great stories, and he does a great job with this. Under the Dome is back on TV. This is Stephen King. Stephen King is absolutely brilliant. What you'll have to remember about Under the Dome is that this has little relation to the TV series at all, except for the title and the names of some of the characters. Both are good. If you'd like to know what Stephen King was initially thinking when he created the book, this is what you would go after. New series on Fox is Wayward Pines by Blake Crouch. There are 3 books in this series. This is the first one. And you can keep up with this and find out if Special Agent Ethan Burke can actually figure a way to get out of Wayward Pines. Hint, no, he can't. There's been a lot of buzz about this book. James Patterson, probably the most prolific writer that we know now. This one is about animals that start attacking people. It features a biologist and an ecologist, probably the only time in history when people in such occupations become stars of action-adventure stories. This will begin on June 30th. And if you like hot guys in kilts, you're probably watching Outlander. This is a great series. There are 8 books in this series, and it's still being written. This is on Stars. From what I understand, the books and the books and the TV show generally tend to run pretty close together. So this would be great if you want to be able to talk with your friends next week and tell them what's going to happen in the next 2 months on Outlander. Books available through the Cumberland County Library System include the paper books that we've just been talking about, but a lot of people may not realize that we have a lot of electronic books that are free to download. You can download the books that we were just talking about to a tablet, to a phone. We have audiobooks that you can download to a phone or to an MP3 player. And another good thing to remember is you don't actually have to turn these back in. They automatically return themselves when your checkout period is over with, so you're never going to have any overdue fees for these. And audiobooks are also a great place to use to put in the car when you're traveling. Instead of having the kids in the back seat watching movies or playing with a Game Boy, listen to a book that all of you can talk about while you're driving. The best way to keep kids interested in reading is first, number one, find out what they want to read. Sit down with them and ask what they're interested in. Is it ghosts? Is it princesses? Is it puppies? Is it horses? Is it baseball? Is it cowboys and Indians? Make a list of what the child is interested in and then head to your public library. The library staff there are very skilled and can help you find books that relate to those reading interests. Secondly, make sure your child sees you reading. You want to show them that reading is a lifelong occupation and that even adults enjoy it and will find time to do it. Third, get 2 copies of the book that your child wants to check out and read along with the child. This way you can talk about the book and you can even take turns reading to each other. Fourth, plan a trip or an excursion based on a book that the child is reading. If he's reading a book about the farm, go up to Gillis Hill. If he's reading a book about baseball, take in a Swamp Dogs game. If he's reading a book about race cars, head to the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. Find a way to tie books into real life and have that become something that they can really do. Probably one of the most important things to do is make sure that this is part of a routine. Set aside a certain amount of time every day to read and try your very, very best to stick to that and encourage your child to stick to that. It may only be 20 minutes or so, but even that little bit will be important. Summer Reading Club is in full swing at all of the Cumberland County libraries. Sign up is simple and easy and it doesn't cost anything. Children can earn a prize for every 4 hours that they spend reading, up to 5 prizes. Teens can earn a prize for every 5 hours they spend reading for up to 3 prizes. And adults can earn a tote bag and an entry into a drawing for a gift card from Amazon or Barnes & Noble. And remember that attending our programs also counts as reading time. So head over to our website and click on the calendar of events, find the programs that you or your child are interested in, and register. Happy reading this summer.